Making a pinch pot. So we have our clay here that's been prepped by wedging it. What we want to do with our clay now is we want to make it into a ball. Our goal is to get a shape similar to this for a pinch pot. Now, not dry like that, of course. Pinch pots can be used for a variety of different things. They can be used for sculptures. They can be put together to make vases. They can be used for a lot of different forms. For your first project, we're going to keep it simple, but I'm going to make this video that you can use for any time you need to remember how to make a pinch pot. So what I'm doing here is I am keeping my hands kind of a cup shape, and I am tapping all around like I'm making a snowball. Notice sometimes I do the flat palm. That's kind of getting rid of some of the points. Nice round ball of clay. Don't mind the wrinkles. We will smooth those out later. So now we have a round ball of clay, and we want to start the pinching process. So I have a cup of water here that I'm going to use to start. I'm going to dip my thumb in here. This is my dominant hand, my opposite hand. My opposite hand is going to hold the clay. I'm going to pick one of those dents here, or wrinkles, and push my thumb in, okay? Now, if you push your thumb too far, it's going to put a hole in the bottom of the pinch pot. So you want to make sure you're careful not to push it all the way through. Now, with the amount of clay you're using, you can kind of guess that it would be really hard to get your thumb all the way down there, but try not to. So what we're going to do now is the pinching of the pinch pot, because right now it's just a ball with a hole in it. What we want to do is make this part here, which is called our wall. So we have our wall here. We want to pinch it so it's even and a nice thickness, about 1/4 of an inch all the way around the whole pinch pot. So what we're going to do is we're going to pinch down this midline first. So right down the center. Take my thumb, put it back inside. And I'm going to crimp, 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 crimp all the way around. Do not pinch on the table. If you pinch on the table, your project's going to get too wide and it's going to get too thin too quickly. You have to keep it in your other hand. So I have it in my opposite hand, just like this. Thumb in. I'm going to pinch. Don't pinch too hard at once. You're just going to give it decent pressure. If you notice, I'm rotating it in my hand as I go along. Now, it's been a while since I've done this, so I might switch my hands occasionally because my hand's going to cramp. But the good thing is your brain kind of tells you when things are feeling a little too thin, when things are feeling a little too thick. So make sure you're not pinching it too thin. So we've pinched down this midline now. Okay? We can see that it's starting to get taller. It's starting to get a little thinner, but it's really fat on the top and the bottom. The bottom is where people miss most. So please make sure you're getting all the way down there when we start this next step. So what I want to do is, instead of pinching down the midline, I'm going to pinch up and down the entire wall from the bottom to the top. To do that, I'm going to put my thumb all the way at the bottom, get my fingers around, and pinch from there, and crawl up and back down, and crawl up and then back down, and crawl up, still rotating in my hands, okay? Don't worry about these unless your project splits in half. Then you might need to start over. Now let's look at this portion here. It's not going to be pretty at first, but you can see I'm starting to get that wall thinner, trying to get all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to do that all the way around. What you want to be careful of is if your thumb can't reach, you don't want to not pinch this. What you can do is put your thumb up like this, and you can actually push it against your other hand to get that bottom pinched. So I'm going to switch hands just because it's already getting tired, and I'm just going to go up and down the wall here. Occasionally what I do is I run my thumb along the bottom here, just kind of blend, so I can get that clay to blend in together a little bit and get that base a little bit wider. And go up and down all the way around. Now you're going to get to the point where you don't even need to look at your project. If you see I'm looking at the camera, I'm not really looking at the clay because I'm using touch. Touch is very important in ceramics. Touch can tell you if something's symmetrical, if it's even on all sides, if it's too thin or too thick, if it's dry, if it's bone dry, if it's not quite bone dry, if it's cold, if it's hot, anything. So trust your hand judgment as much as you can, of course. So I pinch this. I'm looking down on it so I can kind of pinch that wall a little more even. Okay. I'm going to look at the bottom here. You can see it kind of goes down like this. I want to make sure I kind of push this edge out a little bit. All I'm doing is running my thumb along it. You can see it's kind of stretching that. And these cracks, we can even, if they're bothering you, you can use your finger to kind of smudge them back. Okay. So now, just double checking, seeing if there's any thick spots. If you have a super thin spot, Re-wedge it, ball it up, start again. This is a good place to start again, okay? So I have my pinch pot that is pinched, okay? You can see the thickness is fairly even. I'm going to take my pinch pot, hold it gently in my hands, and give it a tap, tap, tap on the table, okay? That is going to create a flat base to sit on, okay? That's the basics of making a pinch pot. We're going to move on to the next step in the next video on how to smooth it and trim it.